Get ready, boys and girls, gather around. It's time for Bronze League Heroes. Welcome back, Forts fans, to another episode of Bronze League Heroes here on SynergyGamingTV. Once again, a couple newcomers to the channel. Without further ado, let's introduce our players. We're going to try this in German. On the left-hand side, playing Armadillo, it's RiesenFliege, or in English, Giant Fly. And on the right-hand side, playing Overdrive, it's Admyre. So, we actually get to see some variable commanders for once in a ranked match. This is really good to see. Let's just talk about it here a little bit. Riesen, we're just going to use English Riesen because it's easier for me to say rather than Riesen. Riesen here doing 4 mines, and looks like we're placing down the sections for the turbines. We have got Admyre building the early armory. Unfortunately, Admyre seems to have a little bit of inexperience on the map. Could have grabbed this bracing right here and pulled it across to create some boxes, and then could place the technology in the proper 2x2 boxes so that you're not wasting space here, especially on this very small platform where you have to risk putting your storages closer to your core. It is much more beneficial to create the 2x2 boxes here to help that a little bit. We've got the early storages down here and still only sitting on 3 mines. Riesen, just recently, F8 key here, sitting at 1 minute and about 25 seconds is when the workshop technology went down. Let us see what transpires from here. I like to see the early sniper. This is something that many players don't do and should do, is placing that early sniper to give that harass, punishing anything that's exposed that your opponent might do. 4th mine for Admyre finishing up here, but no transition into tier 2 technologies just yet. Going up to 3 turbines here. Riesen is going heavy on the economy. I'm not sure exactly what the game plan is there. 4 turbines. Okay, we have discussed in most of the Forts tutorial videos that you do not need any more than 2, occasionally 3 turbines if you're going maximum mines right off the bat. This is a waste. 200 to 400 metal are being wasted here right now. Could have been put towards the tier 2 technology. Admyre here already got the tier 2 tech down. The munitions plant is building, and Riesen still chilling. Not doing anything. Adding some background bracing for defense. As we know, that doesn't do anything. So that might have been a misclick on the old hotkeys. Getting some cross bracing in there and a shield angled downwards. Now, on this map, typically, you would want to use a shield that goes straight across. 1, it's shorter. 2, angling down just diverts it into nothing. If it's straight across, you could end up actually shooting themselves with a laser beam or something like that. Oh, mortars! Yes, this is what I want to see. Now, they're also being placed down not in a quick order, so it's not 1, 2, 3, which is really good to see. Typically, top tier players will hear you place down 1, 2, 3, or hear you upgrade 1, 2, 3, and know that mortars are coming. So this is actually a really good thing here. Now, unfortunately, Admyre is countering these with an instant flak. Now, the fortunate thing here for Riesen is that he does English words, I lost my train of thought again, is that he does have the sniper ready to go, but the flak here for Admyre was placed down below, so it's not going to have that angle of attack vertically. So he's only going to have a little bit of a horizontal and downward protection with that flak cannon. That's a very poor location for one to be put. And Riesen has not used mortars on this map before because he hit the moon. That's not good. I would say from that location, 26% probably is what he needs to do. I bet you that was 32%. If he goes down to about 26, I'm going to guess, will be perfect. Unfortunately, though, when you take 2 shots like that, you're giving your opponent much too good opportunity. Gunners placed to counter mortars. Man, struggling with the English words today. By missing twice, it allows Admyre to technically counter those mortars very quickly with additional gunners. But we're not going to see any. Now, typically if you're going to go with an incendiary... there's the upgrade center. But if you're going to go incendiary mortars and reveal that you have mortars, you typically want to be Firebird in that case. Because incendiary mortars with Firebird is insane. They're actually really, really good. And this is the situation here that if these mortars continue to apply damage, 4 mines is not going to be enough to sustain that economic pressure and the repair bill. I mean, literally. I'd like to see those being upgraded. Hopefully that's the game plan. And he can't do much about the gunner, unfortunately. If he aims a little bit further, he might be able to drop one on top of his head. Flat cannon taking out the gunner here. Admyre finally firing back here. Gary the gunner manages to take out one of those mortar shells in the air. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good here. Taking advantage of those 4 turbines he's got here. So I'm going to assume in this specific build, Riesen knew. Great shot from the 20 mil. Unfortunately, as we all know, 20 millimeters are garbage. But applied some economic pressure here. He does have 6 mines. Well, 5 mines at this specific moment to use that repair damage. Great volley from the incendiaries. I'm going to say from Riesen's build here, going with the 4 turbines, he was probably planning on doing 3 mortars right off the bat. If you're planning on tier 2 technology, typically only 2 turbines. So I retract my previous statement about being too many turbines. That probably works out not too bad in his favor. Admyre firing the 20 mil again. He should be able to puncture that door. Beauty. Exposed sniper here right now. Unfortunately, Admyre doesn't have a sniper of his own. Trying to use that flat cannon to apply the damage. Definitely. Again, first off, before I changing thoughts here, this munitions plant. Again, using those boxes here could have hidden the munitions plant behind the core in a much safer place. This is a big disadvantage here for Admyre. But again, taking advantage of making sure to place down early snipers is really important. Something here that Riesen hasn't done. Placing, again, another 20 millimeter cannon beneath the core is actually causing a lot of the back or the foreground bracing to turn into background bracing here, which is not going to be good for protecting his core. Looking like Riesen here is going to be getting ready to place down some sort of tier 2 technology, tier 2 weapon down below underneath his base. Admyre still not getting a sniper. We do have an upper flak and a lower flak, which is good. We've talked about this lots in the previous maps using the map Abyss, where you want to make sure to spread out your damage, your DPS, high and low on those side-mounted bases. Very important to make sure that you bring your attack in from the middle, from the upper and from the lower positions on those side-mounted bases. Very important here. 20 millimeter cannon applying some of that economic damage here, just dealing some damage to the armor doors. And the flat cannon trying to get a pick off there, sees the door, but unfortunately doesn't do anything. So, mortars have been blocked by the cannon. Is he going to keep those there, sell them, relocate them? We are upgrading the metal production here. So there's a fine line between determining when to upgrade mines and when to use those resources to place down additional damage. Now, if it's really difficult to tell, and it depends on the strategy that the player wants to use, whether or not these upgrades are really early. I would think in this specific situation, since he knows he's only dealing with 20 millimeter damage, he really doesn't need much economy to handle this in this current situation. So to upgrade his mines and take that downtime and wait for those mines to pay themselves off, he seems to be in a very comfortable position to do so. So now is actually economically a very good time to upgrade those mines and the turbines. Now, cannon shot. There we go. So I said, excuse me, I said that was a 20 mil being built below the core. It is a cannon. Cannon doing some great puncture damage right to the core of Riesen. So if Admyre is able to get the cannon shot followed up by the 20 mil, will be in a good shot here. Whoo! Riesen firing his cannon directly at the core, dealing some splash damage, punctures through the non-double braced wooden spam in front. Shouldn't have any issues if he continues to fire there to deal some sweet damage. Unfortunately, Admyre using armor to protect his core rather than dense wood spam. That is incorrect. Dense wood spam is much cheaper and much more viable rather than having that gigantic armor repair bill. Cannon shot a little bit too low. Had he hit that correctly, probably could have actually taken out Riesen there. His cannon shot was a little bit too low. It looks like he re-aimed it. Unfortunately, he's only single dooring his weapons. Double door on one of the cannons, but it's not correctly done. Admyre, I would highly recommend checking out the 7 Golden Rules and the Devices and Materials tutorial video. Will give you a little bit more understanding of how to properly defend your base. could help you progress in the ranks. So make sure to check those out, guys. The Fort tutorial videos, the link is in the description down below. 20mm cannon from Admyre, firing, doing some wood spam damage. Nothing big deal here. If the cannon needs to hit the same spot, it doesn't. Unfortunately, 2 opportunities that Admyre had to possibly end the game and missed them due with just a little bit of inaccuracy. Flat cannons trying to do a little damage here from Admyre, and Riesen retaliating with another cannon shot directly to the core, hitting that armor and increasing that repair bill. Admyre stuck on 4 mines of economy, losing shields, losing armor. He's just not going to be able to sustain that kind of repair bill unless he decides to move into a stronger economy. Riesen absolutely out economizing, is that a word? Out-ecoing his opponent here substantially. So with just constant fire and damage to all this armor that Admyre is placing down in front of the core, he can just drain his resources here and end the game with just sheer damage. Keep in mind that Riesen is playing Armadillo, so any sort of substantial damage, he can just pop that active ability and repair everything almost immediately. Great shot there! Through the single door, blows up the cannon down below, and has absolutely Swiss cheesed Admyre's base. There's a giant window underneath the core here, trying to fill it in. He's using background bracing instead of foreground bracing. It appears here that Admyre might be a little bit new to the game, which is okay. This is how we learn, coming in against opponents that are better than you, and then observing and learning from those mistakes. So again, background bracing doesn't do anything to protect yourself. However, using the background bracing will prevent those bracings from being taken out by the next cannon volley. So that could have been the strategy there. You can see here that Riesen has placed an armory at the back of the base. Cannon shot once again to the core, continuously dealing some splash damage here. The core is absolutely puffing out black smoke, and there's the last shot from Riesen, ending this match. Absolutely controlled the map almost the whole game. Riesen played incredibly well. GG players. That was RiesenFliege versus Admyre. Armadillo versus Overdrive.